Welcome to the Hilton Head Living Podcast. I am your host, O.T. Gibbons. Our mission with all of our content is to make sure you have the best time in Hilton Head. All the best places to go, all the biggest events going on, everything to make sure you get the most out of your time on the island. I am joined as always by the star of our content, my beautiful wife and co-host, Jessica Gibbons. How you doing, Jess?
Hi.
All right, on this week's episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about things to do this weekend in Hilton Head. We're going to be talking about our favorite new thing that we tried last week. And as always, we're going to answer the people. But before we get to all that, it is our 8th wedding anniversary. It also coincides with the 3rd anniversary of when we bought our house on Hilton Head Island. And it is the 2nd anniversary of when we started the Hilton Head Living profile. So a lot of things all happened around this April, May, time frame over the last several years for us. We're actually sitting in my parents' home as our house is getting renovated and we're getting ready to move to somewhere else on the island. And we just wanted to kind of revisit some of the stuff that's happened and some of the things we learned. So, Jess, what do you want to share with the people about it?
We started the profile from moving here from the north, never really visiting here or seeing anything. And if you've been here, you obviously know it's hard to find where things are. They do a great job of integrating nature with the building, so there's not really signs or anything, and a lot of things are hidden. So we just started to show our experiences, and I just fell in love with exploring the island, finding new nooks and crannies and hidden gems along the island, and it's been so much fun. Something that I feel like we learned the hard way was that you do need to pay attention to the tide charts. We took the dogs to Dolphin Beach, where it's not very much of a beach, and we went at high tide, so we couldn't really walk with them there. And at low tide is really fun for kids because they can go further out and there's lots of little creatures, or you see the bottom of the floor.
What's the other beach that goes really far out?
Fish Hall Beach too. Yeah, that's really fun at low tide.
Where I walked like 500 yards, like way out. It's really, really cool. And then the water comes all the way up.
Yeah, and that's not much of a beach either. So that at high tide, you can't really sit there either.
Yeah, and I think another thing is don't try to leave the island at 3 o'clock really any day, but especially on a Friday. People getting out of work a little bit earlier down here. I feel like that's just island life. And, something Jess and I argued about for a while when we first moved here, which I will take the L on, is that I would always go the long way around, which I now admit is the long way around William Hilton Parkway, kind of, through all just the loop around the north end, coming down the east end of the south, instead of taking the intercoastal bridge, which is obviously faster. You can get the win on that one.
I was about to say, so you're saying I'm right?
Yes, we're right about that, for sure.
And then for a while, too, I thought Saturdays, because it is changeover day, to stay away from stores or restaurants. But we found out that it's usually less crowded that day because people are going off the island or coming on a little bit later. And usually when people come in, they just grab something simple for dinner and they just want to get settled in.
Along those same lines, if you want to play golf, I've found that the afternoons are actually a great time to go play golf. Obviously, it's light, a lot longer outside, but the rates are lower. There's not as many people playing. Yes, it is hotter, so that's why there's not as many people playing, especially in the summer. And you can get some thunderstorms in the afternoon, but you can get rates under $70 on the island at later afternoon times, and that's pretty rare overall. So it's definitely something to try to take advantage of.
As you just said, thunderstorms. The weather here, we have learned, it can show that it's going to be rainy, or maybe the next couple of days rainy. You never know until the actual day. Like yesterday, it said it was going to be thundering and raining starting at 8 a.m. this morning. It's, 10 now, and it's still not. And that's what we had our first experience when we first moved here in the fall, or when we actually moved into our house in the fall, that the hurricane That was a new experience with us. Moved all our outdoor furniture inside and ended up going around us. And so we've learned that too now a couple times of the tropical storms and stuff. It seems to affect Bluffton more than us. They get way more flooding than the island does, which you would think being an island, it would affect us more. But they have great water pumping systems out into the ocean, which Bluffton doesn't have. So that was interesting to learn.
And when we do get a rainstorm, it does feel like the wind is really whipping and it kind of pushes the storm through. We're not weather men by any means, just what it feels like. It feels like it gets pushed through really fast because of the winds and whatnot, but it does change at the drop of a hat. It can also say it's going to be 80 and sunny, and in the middle of the day, you get the craziest thunderstorm you've ever seen in your life for a couple minutes, and you can't even drive. As you're driving, you can't see 10 feet in front of you. So we get all kinds of stuff, but it is usually pretty quick.
And also on that, it can be raining on the north side and not on the south side or vice versa too. So I always look at radar to see what it's going to be.
And that's like another big thing that I think we've learned is like the north and the south end, and like just how different each segment of the island is. And it's something we've said on multiple podcasts, but there's really something for everyone here. And you really need to just be aware of what kind of person you are or what you like to do, and to stay in that area of the island that kind of fits what you're looking for. We live in Hilton Head Plantation. There are no short-term rentals there. It is a homeowner community, and so it is not as heavily trafficked. Our grocery store is not nearly as busy in the on-season. My parents, where we're staying now, live in Sea Pines, which is like the peak of it, and their grocery stores are packed, and there's tons and tons of people here, and they absolutely love it. So it really is, what do you like? And there are a million other places we could talk about, but what do you prefer as a person when you visit here?
That's what we knew. We didn't want as many crowds, so that's why we prefer the north side. But your parents love to walk to everything, so they love it in Sea Pines. And then also, as we're looking at houses now, we thought we wanted a pool in our backyard, but staying in his parents, and they do have a pool, we realized it's a lot of work. And I wouldn't be using it as much per se. And one of our dogs loves to go in the pool, but then it takes forever for her to dry off too. So we've realized we're now, and then isn't insurance more when you have a pool too? Or
there's a bunch of things like the maintenance, the cost to upkeep it. It's just because it's become very clear living here that like if we're only going to use a pool a couple times a year, what would we need it for?
And Hilton Head Plantation has an amazing pool. It's almost like a resort pool. There's a lazy river. There's a kid's splash pad. There's the deep end. There's the zero gravity, like where it slowly gets deeper. So that's an amazing pool. I love going there. And then it took us a little while to realize that we knew that his parents with the Sea Pine Pass could get into Hilton Head Plantation, but it took us a while to realize we could also get into Sea Pines with our Hilton Head Plantation sticker because Fraser built both communities. So that is a little tidbit. And you can also buy either a day pass to Sea Pines, or there is actually like a residential one, yearly one too.
I think in general, one great piece of advice is you can get into almost any of the gated. There's a few you can't, but Palmetto Bluff, Palmetto Dunes, Shipyard, Sea Pines, like you can get, if you're going to go play golf, if you want to go eat at one of the restaurants in a hotel, if you have a good reason to go in, you can get through the gate to go to these places. Some places like Sea Pines might charge you, but
or there's also, if you want to go to the spas and the resorts too, that could be behind a gate. They'll let you in for that too.
A lot of people come to us and say, I didn't even know you could go in there. That's a huge comment that we get all the time. And so just letting people know, like, yeah, you can get to these businesses. They're not exclusively for that resort or that community. Again, there are a couple communities that do not let anybody in. But a lot of them, like it is, if you do see one and there is something in there you want to go try, it's worth asking. And I think overall, the biggest impression the island has made on us, and something that we support very, very deeply, is the small business community aspect of this island, and it's not really something we thought of when we started the profile. The profile was really more like, wow, we really can't find anything on the island. But as we've gone about doing it, it is supporting these local businesses and helping people become more aware of all of the amazing things there are to do on the island and businesses they can support. And the people that run these businesses are just the best people ever. And it's been a pleasure to get to meet them and interact with them and take part in their business. But I don't know how you feel about that. That's been like one of the cooler parts of it.
No, it's definitely about to say getting to know the business owners too. And that is another thing, like Southern hospitality is a real thing coming from the north. It's people are generally nice down here and it's so enjoyable, and that the storekeepers will actually come out and talk to you. Usually the owners are in their store and they'll come and talk to you and be very friendly, and it's not nothing like they're not being very salesy. It's how you doing? How's your day? Oh, are you visiting? Where are you from? It's more of a normal conversation instead of trying to sell you something, and that's very refreshing and nice.
And even the places that are bigger, bigger operations, these places that are very, very large in scale, that own tons of restaurants, it still has a very local vibe. The people that work there are just salt of the earth, good people. The people that own these places and that operate these places and manage these places are always there. They're all, they're always present. Whether it's the one-off local shop or it's somebody with multiple stores or it's a bigger operation, the community is pretty small and fairly tight-knit, and you can really get to know these people. And as we've gotten to know them, it's just been an absolute pleasure. And some of them are our best friends. Some of them are very close friends. So it's really been cool and can't say enough about it. It's been an honor and a privilege.
And also along with that, when there's events and stuff going on, a lot of people are very gracious and quick to offer things from their store. Like if there's an event, you always see like somebody has a table somewhere, or that the gift bags they include from local stores. People are very happy to donate gifts for that kind of thing. And I think that's awesome too.
As we were growing as a business, nobody knew us. We're not from here. We're new, and everyone was really supportive of Jess and some of the stuff she was doing in the beginning. And that was really cool to see, and that meant a lot to us. And, so we try to pay that back as much as possible and be really supportive of as many businesses as we can possibly get to. And if you're watching the videos on social media, the names of the businesses are in the videos at the end.
If they're not, and then if they're not in the video, they're definitely in the caption. They're somewhere. They're somewhere there.
I promise you, the names of the businesses are in the videos. I promise you, just watch till the end.
Let's say it's usually at the end, so just watch to the end.
But it has been a pleasure. We are so fortunate to be running this profile. So excited for the things that we're working on in the future. And having said all that, let's get into what we do. Jess, what are the events and the things going on in Hilton Head this weekend?
The Bluffton Sunset Palooza will take place on May 16th from 5:30 to 9:30 at Oscar Fraser Park. There'll be live music along with food and beverages for purchase. It is cash only, and you can buy tickets either online beforehand or at the gate. And dogs and chairs are welcome. The Rooftop Above Poseidon's will host the Summer Kickoff Comedy Jam on the 17th, and general admission tickets are $25. We've done it for our anniversary a couple times, or date night, to have dinner either down below at Poseidon's, or you can have it upstairs at Rooftop too. They have tables earlier on in the night, and there's an outside patio thing, outside balcony that you can sit out on too. So we love to go have dinner or drink beforehand and then go see the show. And this show starts at 8 p.m. too. So that's a little bit earlier. The ones we've been to have 9, which we're like, Oh my goodness, we have to stay up until 9 per se. So, but we always have so much fun. That's always a great date night. And that the comedy jam sounds like a lot of fun. That's not something that's usually done here too, so it's definitely different. Some upcoming events: the art festival will take place at the Shelter Cove Harbor and Marina on the 23rd and the 24th, and the original Gala Festival will take place in Beaufort from the 23rd to the 25th.
Okay, so going back to last week, Jess, what was your favorite new thing that you tried last week?
Since we are staying in Sea Pines, we're just trying to take in as much as possible because it can take a little while to get from the north side to the south side. I know that sounds ridiculous, but which I thought it was when we first moved here, but once you're here for a while, you know. We decided to go to the farmers market that's at the Shops at Sea Pines, which takes place every Tuesday from 10 to 2, and there are great vendors there. So, there are tons of stores there that you can shop at and some restaurants to have lunch at, and they have a lot of great food and art vendors. There's jewelry. We got dog treats for the dogs. I love giving them homemade organic dog treats from Did Bite Ya. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Hard to say. The dog's name of the owner of the company is Diddy, so that's cute. And then we got a shrimp po' boy from which the Low Country Produce Market has a little stand outside where they make oyster and po' boys sandwiches, and it's completely fresh. You see them do it, and it was delicious too. And then we went into Low Country Produce, and all the way in the back, little secret, they have a little window for smoothies and coffee. So I got a coffee and OT got a smoothie. It was delicious.
Smoothie was incredible.
So a little hidden gem for you. And what about you?
So we have been looking for a restaurant that really fits my family. We're loud. We've got a bunch of people, and it can sometimes get expensive when you take everybody out. We were looking for something for Mother's Day that wasn't too expensive, somewhere we could take everybody. There was going to be seating, and the food was going to be delicious. And we went to an absolute great spot that we love. Got a whole bunch of food for $88 for 7 people. It was so good. We had so much food, and it was Fiesta Fresh in the Port Royal Plaza. It is some of the best Mexican food I've ever had. I can't recommend it enough to everybody. We had a table. The wait staff was like playing with our little niece's like baby toy. They're so kind in there. The service, I mean, the food came out in...
That's what I was going to say, that the food, we like just sat down, like got our drinks from the fountain and sat down, and they're like, oh, here's your food. And it was like, oh, wow, okay. So go in hungry because you don't have to wait for your food.
It was inexpensive. The food came out immediately. If you've got a bunch of little kids with you, one of the worst things is when you're sitting there waiting for the food to try to occupy their time, and you've got the iPads, but they're not watching the show, and the whole thing becomes a mess. I mean, the food was at the table instantly. If it hadn't have been pouring rain, we could have been in and out of there in like 15 minutes. It was so quick. But we were sitting there. We had this huge, they got all kinds of seating in there. I mean, there were all kinds of families and everybody in there doing their Mother's Day thing. It was really fun, awesome time. Can't recommend it enough.
My favorite queso. I'm not the biggest queso fan, but I think I could drink out of their cup. It's dangerous because then I eat so many chips with it. It's so good. I definitely did not expect that. And it was a place, people are probably thinking, oh, that's where you went for Mother's Day. His mom loves it there. They go there a lot too. So,
but it's tough to find somewhere. Obviously, most places were open for Mother's Day, but it is hard to find places on Sunday.
Yeah,
and they're open on Sundays.
They're open 7 days a week too, so that's rare also.
All right, and as always, we're going to answer the people. And the question we've been getting asked most often lately is about shopping in Hilton Head. So, Jess, where are the best places to go shopping in Hilton Head?
There are a bunch of places. One of our favorites is Caligny Plaza because there are so many different things there, and it is a lot of stores. There are a lot of restaurants. They have the touristy stuff that just say Hilton Head. They have unique things such as the black market or the seashell shop is kind of touristy, but a little different. And kids can easily run around there too. And they have a little pirate ship playground. So that's a lot of fun. Then there is the village at Wexford, which is kind of in the middle of the island per se. And it is not the actual village of Wexford. So it's right next to it, and anybody can go into the shopping center part. And again, they have there's cooking stuff there. One of my favorite stores, the balsamic oil and olive oil store. I love that. If you're a cook, you need to visit that. That's a lot of fun. And lots of shopping, great boutiques that are there. And there's restaurants too, Java Burrito, that's quick in and out. And then going up a little bit more, you have Shelter Cove, which that is a big area because you have the Harbor Marina that has shops there and restaurants. And then you go up a little bit more, there's the town center. And again, more shops and restaurants, great boutiques there too. You go up just a little bit more on the other side of Kroger, there is the Shelter Cove Plaza. So that has a TJ Maxx and some other little stores in there also. And it's not as big, but there's still some good stuff there. And then there's in Sea Pines, there is Harbor Town. It's definitely probably the smallest, but there's some good stuff there. There's the toy shop there too, which is also in Coligny Plaza. But that's great for kids. And then they have their new store, forgot what it's called, but it has the little lighthouse logo on everything. That is the Sea Pines insignia. And then off the island are the outlets. You have Tanger 1 and Tanger 2. Yeah, obviously they're outlets. They have, your Nike, your Adidas, your Lids, all the normal stores, plus some extra that are a little more catered to the South too. And up a little bit more, it's a little bit newer, is Washington Square. And they're still building stuff out there, but they have some great shops. There's Bertie James there. There's the running store there. And like I said, they're still building, doing a lot more and putting new stuff in there all the time.